For most people, this is one of the best backpacking stoves available. The stove in question is the Soto Amicus, and I'm going to break this video review down into a few separate parts. First off, we're going to go over the basic specs of the stove. Then I'm going to do a boil test both inside and outside to get some efficiency numbers. Then I'm going to talk about my own experiences with the stove, including using it for 3 weeks on Te Araroa, a thru hike here in New Zealand. Then I'm going to talk about who I'd recommend the stove for, where it's good, where it's not so good. Let's get into it. The Amicus weighs in at 75 grams, with an extra 6 grams for the optional piezo igniter, bringing it to a total of 81 grams. For some context here, the MSR Pocket Rocket 2 weighs in at 73 grams, and the Pocket Rocket Deluxe weighs in at 83 grams. The ultralight BRS 3000T weighs in at just 25 grams, but that's kind of in its own category. I'll have a review of that one coming soon. Jet boil systems are in the range of 375 grams, but obviously that does include the pot. This stove has got 4 arms which all lock when they're in place, opposed to the more normal 3. It cost me $80 here in New Zealand, and in the States you can get it for $50 US from Amazon or Soto, or $50 US from REI including a pot, which is insane value. Again, for some more context, the Pocket Rocket Deluxe costs around $200 here in New Zealand, and $85 from REI in the States. Now let's do a boil test outside, see how fast it is and how much gas it uses. I'm going to be using my 750ml titanium pot, which isn't the most effective pot to use with it because of its small base, but it is realistically what I use it with on a day-to-day basis. Now I'm inside and I'm going to recap the outside boil test and then do another test inside to see if the wind makes any difference. For the test outside, boiling 500ml of water used 6 grams of fuel and took 6 minutes. So I've got another 500ml of water here, and let's do the same test again and see how long it takes. Starting at a weight of 259 grams. Okay, so it took 6 minutes and 20 minutes to that boil, which is about the same as it took outside, but I think I had to turn down a bit more. Let's see how much gas it used. It started at 259 and it is now at 252, so we use 7 grams. Now my scale does only go down to the gram, so I use 7 grams inside, 6 grams outside, so around 6 or 7 grams of fuel. I'm going to get a bigger pot from downstairs and test to see if a pot with a wider base works more efficiently with the stove. I've got another pot here with a wider base, so let's do another test to see how efficient it is with a wider based pot. Starting weight is 252 grams. So that time I got a full boil and it took only 4 minutes and 40 seconds, which is much faster. I might have had it a bit high, but I think also due to the pot design. Weighs in at 246 grams, so we use 6 grams of gas. That's pretty in line with our other tests, so I'd say it's using 6 or 7 grams of gas to boil 500ml of cold tap water. Let's head on back outside and I'll tell you about my experiences using the stove. I've used the stove for many overnight backpacking trips here in New Zealand, including most notably for 3 weeks on Te Araroa, a thru hike here in New Zealand. Throughout this time, it's always worked for me, and I've been impressed by the efficiency and the effectiveness in a range of scenarios. It's good in the wind, it's ultra small and it can pack down into my 750ml pot with a small gas canister and a lighter. That means I can throw it in my pack no matter what the trip is and I barely even notice it's there. I'd recommend this stove to most overnight backpackers. I think it compromises really well on weight, functionality and cost. It's relatively light, it's relatively cheap, and it's relatively fast. You can go for a faster stove that weighs more and costs more, like the jet boil. You can go for a cheaper stove that weighs less and is slower and not as good in the wind, like the BRS 3000T, but I think this sits in a really good sweet spot. If you're doing more alpine stuff in cold, high-altitude environments, you might need a multi-fuel stove, and I'll have a review of a few of them coming soon. I've got a bunch of other stoves that I'm about to review, so if you want to see those videos, make sure you subscribe. And if this video is helpful to you in any way, maybe drop a like so I know what kinds of videos people want to see. Thanks so much for watching, and happy trails.